I ask a quick question? Sorry
So
to jump. You said that high-profile people are like targets
yeah,
in prison.
yeah.
Were you ever a target
No,
while you were in there?
no, I was never. I'm not really high profile. Like I know that kind of goes against this whole setup and what it looks like, but I'm like really not an important person. It really didn't even strike people like who I was until I got to Joyceville. Actually, that's not true. When I was in Toronto South, you know, LocoCity,
Yeah.
I was on range with him and we were in the shower, which I know that sounds crazy, but we're both taking a shower, like stalls apart. And he looks over, he says something about my tattoos. We start talking and he's like, "Oh, what's your name?" And I'm like, "I'm Slava P. I just got arrested." He's like, "Oh, you're Slava P." And he was working with Sam, who's now running Rap Season. She was his manager. And I guess, you know, gossip spread about the fact that I had done what I'd done and got arrested. And so Loco City was on the same range as me then, but nobody really cared. And then when I got to Joyceville, Casper saw me, and Casper had gotten arrested after or before my shit like became public news. So he had no idea what was even happening. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" He thought I was like doing a Vice piece in jail.
Yeah.
So after that, it became a little bit more clear. But even then, I wasn't like high profile. If anything, people were bothering me to like get the story out. They're like, "Yo, you're a journalist, right? Tell them about what they're doing to me." And like, they're not giving me healthcare and shit like that.
Shout out to my guy Alex for the question too. That will definitely be added too. So yeah. And I mean, like even like with the whole like experience, have you ever noticed like any rappers or public figures that either like went to PC or did they mainly stick to like GP and all that?
No, the complete opposite. If you ever went to PC, it would be a huge tarnish on your reputation in the streets. It would be the worst thing you could do. So guys would max out before they would go to PC, right? Like, I know they were those guys were probably more targets than anyone else. Like punching Casper probably gives you more points on the street than punching Slava P, right?
Yeah.
But again, all those guys were not only good, but like those guys played the best basketball game I've ever seen in my life around Christmas. There was like an inmate basketball game, one team against the other. And I don't know if they were on the same team, but Tallup and Casper were just, and then there's another guy, Reese? Anyway, he was the guy who did the shooting for at the Raptors game. But anyway, these guys were balling out. It was like the most entertaining basketball game I've ever seen. It was like came down to the wire and Casper hit a three right at the buzzer because we have big buzzers that tell us when to go.
Yeah.
Casper hit a three at the buzzer to win the game.
Oh, that's crazy. And like that's actually like probably like one of the dopest stories like I've heard like in a while too. I mean, because I've heard like a story that I think Booggz like was on PC or something like that too, and like I think people kind of exposed him for that for some reason too. Like I don't know if this is like in the East or if it was like in the South too. So
from my knowledge of Booggz and his time inside, he blessed everyone, super nice, and nobody had nothing bad to say about him in terms of people I interacted with. So I'm not sure. But there are guys who will like check. They won't check in, but they'll max themselves out before they check in.
Okay. And like I mean, like at that time it was like only Casper, Tallup, I'm guessing Bundog and like other people too.
Bundog may have been there. I don't even know what he looks like really. So who really knows? I probably would have heard. But the Tallup Casper K Money ended up coming as I was leaving. And that's about it for guys who are like rappers. And then guys who are like street dudes, the only one I interact with is like Blueface. Like Moolah shouts him out a lot in songs. Blueface is a guy who's like, he's been in for a minute. And he made his way down to minimum for like a brief period. And I interacted with him there. But like all the guys that you hear in like Driftwood songs, like the Shower Posse guys, those guys are still in, but they're in Collins Bay. Like you were asking about the segregation on the ranges. There's whole penitentiaries that are segregated. So Collins Bay is for like, and again, this might be out of date because I'm talking about what it was in 2022. But that was like a Jamestown Galloway jail. You don't go to Collins Bay if you're from Driftwood. You go to Driftwood. If you're from Driftwood, you go to the one that Beaver Creek, but Beaver Creek Medium is called something else. God, it's been so long.
There's like the Maplehurst, and then I think
that's like Toronto South.
All right.
Maplehurst is like there's only 5 penitentiaries that house federal. Workworth, which is in Workworth, Collins Bay, Bath, Pittsburgh, and then the one I keep forgetting, but it's up in Muskoka with Beaver Creek.
Oh, okay.